Hi and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do a kind of a little tip for spring summer makeup. Now that the weather's finally getting nice. So I find a lot of people tend to use a different foundation in the winter to what they do in the spring, summer, and they feel like that they need to buy a new foundation to use in the spring and the summer, a lighter consistency one maybe, and to the full coverage foundation that they like to use in the winter. So I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can still use your winter full coverage foundation and use it for the spring, summer. So if you don't want to go out and spend money on buying a new foundation, then these kind of little tips might be useful. So the first way or tip is if you take your full coverage foundation. I have the MAC Studio Fix here, and I like to wear this when I want a full coverage foundation, and I like to wear it mostly on evenings out, but I find on my skin particularly it's a little bit too heavy for the daytime, and definitely in the spring and the summer when I don't want to have that sort of, I don't want my skin to look like it's covered in makeup. I prefer it to look like I'm not wearing too much makeup, even though I probably am. So what I do is I take a little bit of this foundation, and I'll do this on the back of my hand so you can see. And then I take any kind of oil that's good for the face, and I mix a tiny bit of that oil with the foundation, and that will just lighten up the consistency of the foundation and make it into a sort of, well, you can make it then as light in consistency as you want, depending on how much oil you add to the foundation. I'm going to be using this one by Elizabeth Arden, but you can use any kind of oil that's good for the face. So this is a spray, so I'm just going to put one spray to begin and just mix that with the foundation. And I would say this is good for normal to dry skin, because you are adding oil. So if you have oily skin, you probably wouldn't want to add oil to your face. But as you can see, hopefully, it gives a little bit of coverage when you kind of compare this area to this area, but it also adds a bit of a glow as well, which is always nice when you're out and about in the daytime, that you look nice and fresh. So that's sort of the first way you can do it if you have normal to dry skin. But if you have, say, well, this actually, the next tip I'm going to share with you, this will work for all skin types, but especially if you have, normal to oily skin and you don't want to use any oil at all on your face, then what I like to do is mix a good coverage concealer with either a moisturizer or an SPF cream. Especially if you're going out in the sun, it's good to always put SPF on your skin before makeup. But what I tend to do is mix the concealer with the SPF cream, and that gives a really nice finish without being too much of a full coverage, but still, smoothing out those imperfections. So I'll show this one on the back of my hand. This is the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. So I'll just take a pump of that. It's going to come out on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to take any sort of face cream or SPF cream, and then mix that on the back of my hand. And again, it's up to you how much concealer you want to add to the cream, depending on the coverage you want. But again, hopefully you can see that it's given a nice smooth finish, covering any sort of redness and imperfections, but not that sort of cakey full coverage look. So yeah, those are the two sort of options that I would recommend if you don't want to go out and buy a new foundation. Use what you have and just add a cream or an oil to those products. Hopefully that was helpful, and if you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel. I post 2 videos a week usually. So please subscribe and tell your friends. This medium matte brown eyeshadow on my brush, tap off any excess, and then just apply it to the crease. And then I'm going to take the eyeshadow to the outer corner